Do you occasionally worry that you're being a bad partner? Even if you're not in a relationship right now, maybe you don't want to ruin the next one. Despite the fact that a relationship can be a beautiful union among two caring people, it is definitely not simple. It takes work from both partners to establish a healthy and fulfilling relationship with another person who will persist all the challenges and difficulties. Fully understanding your behavior could be the first step to maintaining your relationship in a healthy way. Relationships can be quite challenging sometimes, especially these days. Some mistakes can ruin what you built up for years. Pay close attention until the end of this video to discover 6 behaviors that destroy relationships. Not giving enough privacy. Even if you're in a relationship, you have to acknowledge that at the end of the day, you are still two different people. And your partner deserves their own space to do the things they enjoy. You should always let your partner have a life outside of your relationship, whether they are spending time with their friends and family or playing sports. If you step over the boundaries and try to limit them, they are not going to like it. This can eventually lead to them shutting down emotionally, which can be a cause of unhappiness. Don't be too controlling, and don't even try to go through their phone or asking them to show their messages unless you have a really good reason to. Not giving them their privacy and freedom or insisting that you would go with them everywhere will make them start to feel trapped, and this could eventually lead to a breakup. If you believe that you regularly practice this behavior, it's possible that deeper, more complicated emotions are driving you. Getting these problems addressed could benefit both you and your relationship. Not accepting criticism. We cannot like every single thing about someone, so it's likely that your partner will occasionally criticize you as well. How you respond to that criticism says a lot about you and your relationship. Do you get offended or frustrated and give them the silent treatment? Do you try to turn it around against them? Do you get upset and lose your temper? Or do you take it personally and ignore them? If you said yes to any of these questions, you need to reconsider your behavior, since all of these actions may cause long-term relationship damage because they show your partner that you are not willing to communicate and you are not able to take ownership for your own mistakes. Expecting without expressing first. When your partner is not doing something you want them to, do you get upset at them? A common mistake people do in relationships is expecting certain things without communicating first. Don't forget that they are not able to read your mind. Even if something seems obvious for you, it might not be the same for them. You frequently assume that your partner is aware of your feelings and desires, but this is completely unfair against them. It is your responsibility to express what you want, and if you don't communicate your feelings, your partner won't know that there is a problem. Your relationship might get ruined over time if you assume that your partner will know every single time what is going on with you. Giving them ultimatums. Giving someone an ultimatum can sometimes be the only way to change their behavior or get the desired result, such as when they are putting you in a bad or uncomfortable situation. Instead of giving ultimatums, you should aim for a mutual agreement by an honest conversation. If you give someone an ultimatum, you are trying to manipulate them into doing what you want and not what they want. Of course, if their behavior is destructive or toxic, you should definitely not be okay with that. But you should never make a big deal out of normal things, such as them hanging out with friends or staying late at work. You should never put them in a position where they have to choose between you and other people or a thing they really love doing. As a couple, you should complete each other instead of taking away from each other. As a result of being forced into something they don't want to do, your partner might start to feel bitterness towards you. This could lower their self-esteem, therefore negatively impact their trust in you and harm your relationship. Getting defensive without listening. The importance of open and honest communication cannot be overstated. But what if your partner has something to tell you that you don't want to hear? For instance, your partner might believe that they are the only ones contributing in your household, or they think you're not doing anything for the relationship. To be fair, nobody likes to receive negative criticism. So, what is the right thing to do if your partner tells you a problem? You should always listen to them and try to understand where they're coming from instead of getting ignorant or defensive. That way, you are not going to solve anything and things might get even worse. Ignorance and defensiveness prevents you from understanding your partner's problems. Instead of thinking about how to defend yourself, try to provide a solution to their problem. Of course, this shouldn't apply if they are not being reasonable or they are just trying to annoy you. But in general, you are ignoring the actual problem and your partner doesn't feel heard. You can decide to keep coming up with excuses and argue with them, or take the situation to your hands and solve the issue. Competing with them. Partners in a happy relationship don't compete with each other and don't even compare each other negatively based on their appearance, status, or wealth. Due to the tension, stress, and resentment that competition causes, they don't even care who is right or wrong. You will eventually drive your partner away if you are constantly looking for ways to treat them as your competition, coming up with different points against them. After all, they are your partner and you should work together and not against each other. You can build a stronger bond over time by supporting each other, reaching a compromise that pleases both of you. If you found value in this video, please smash that like button and consider subscribing.